Okay, everybody, let's get this webinar started. Thank you all for coming. Just a couple of housekeeping notes before we get started. The webinar control panel, if that is still full on your screen, can be minimized by hitting the little right arrow in the upper left-hand corner of that panel to push it over. However, within that panel, you can ask questions. I'm joined by another panelist, Kevin Townsend, who is our sales engineer. If there's any questions we can answer during the webinar, we will. If not, we'll get to you afterwards. We're also going to record this webinar so that you can share it amongst other colleagues, or if someone hasn't made it to this webinar and wants to see it, they can see it that way as well. The link to that will be coming out within a day or two. So quickly, my name is Rob Manfredi. I'm the Director of BPA North America. Kevin and I are responsible for working with existing clients as well as bringing on new clients and implementations here, along with another team and several partners here in the U.S. So today we're going to focus on BPA Quality, and we're going to specifically look at the audit process as well as a general overview. We're going to break this presentation into two parts. The first part will be an overview of BPA and the solution and some key best practices as it relates to audits. And then we'll get into the actual product and walk through that product and the like. The configuration we see of the product is from our discovery site so that you can have access to that discovery site to play with the system and do a lot of the things that you see me doing and to see if it's right for your organization. Of course, Kevin and I can do one-on-one presentations with you and your team. We can do some requirements gathering and present a more customized configured demo for your organization to really evaluate the solution to see if it fits within your organization. So with that, we're going to get started. Excuse my voice. I'm awful cold here in the Northeast, and let's just clear my throat. Okay, here we go. So welcome. BPA is fast becoming the emerging standard for SharePoint-based solutions. This standard represents solutions that serve the needs of people that every day make your business run, a standard that delivers technology that works the way they work and empowers your most important assets in the information they need when they need it. As a worldwide market leader for SharePoint Business Solutions with over 800 customers in 12 languages and 50 partners, solutions implemented for BPA are a safe, secure, reliable, and scalable investment. Welcome to the next generation of solutions. With BPA, you have a trusted vendor with a single enterprise platform that delivers many solutions. Our platform, called XRM, includes 30-plus enterprise quality components, making it the most powerful SharePoint solution in the marketplace. Automate your frontline business-critical processes with solutions such as CRM, quality, risk management, and others. Our solutions are designed to keep you in control through standard SharePoint configuration and fully extensible through complete integration with powerful SharePoint-based services. By removing the need for development, you minimize your cost, risk, and time to deploy and can now deliver a system that fits your business processes. BPA solutions simply work better because they run on SharePoint. The BPA Extended Relationship Management Platform complements the robust SharePoint framework with powerful features driving business efficiencies and improving the user experience. With the BPA XRM platform, companies can better serve the business needs for solutions and IT's need for control. So SharePoint is the most powerful collaborative platform in the market and provides native integration with Microsoft Outlook tools such as automatic synchronizations with Outlook, etc. Workflow tools are embedded, automatic reminders, document management, BI, and reporting tools, and many other, which make SharePoint the most robust, scalable, and feature-rich platform, are utilized by the BPA solution. SharePoint Foundation is enough to run our solutions. SharePoint Foundation is included at no additional cost with a Windows Server license. With a BPA Quality Server license, you can run BPA Quality for unlimited users and quality instances. That is, you can run independent quality instances for different sites or locations if you choose. BPA has recently introduced a mobile solution, so never be without the information you need when you need it. Update contacts, get phone numbers, or be reminded to update your tasks BPA Mobile Solutions are your what we call every moment companion. Work with your smartphone or tablet and be productive when on the run, even when you're offline, with a quick and intuitive interface which enables you to find the information you need whether you are online or off. Administrators will love the web-based mobile administration console where you can easily manage users and security privileges. BPA Mobile Solutions are available for Apple iOS, both the iPhone and iPad, and soon for Android and Windows Mobile. So let's move into the quality system now that we've got the background of what the XRM system does with SharePoint. So BPA Quality is independent from any quality standard. That means it is based on the Deming Improvement Wheel, which is the plan, do, check, and act. We track both dynamic improvement processes and compliance documents in one single system. The customer is in the center of this tool. You can track daily activities in relationship with the quality processes such as tasks, emails, and meetings. It's really a quality relationship management tool. You can further extend this to risk management if needed. Risk management is another module to identify, assess, and treat and monitor enterprise risks. Both solutions can run jointly in the same environment. And we're going to see a lot of this during the presentation. But let's talk about audits. How I always like to start these is really come up with a common definition of what we mean by an audit and then really what that means for an organization. So quality audits is the process of systematic examination of a quality system carried out by an internal or external quality auditor or a team. It's an important part of an organization's quality management system and is a key element in the ISO quality system standard, the ISO 9001. So auditing is one of the most powerful safety monitoring techniques and an effective way to avoid complacency and highlight slowly deteriorating conditions, especially when the audit is focused not just on compliance but effectiveness. What we're all looking for is sort of that root cause analysis, right? As things happen within an organization, the quality system really brings together things that are happening and ties them to either an action, right? That's either a corrective action or a preventative action. And those actions then need to be audited. So that as we look at all of these cases or issues that arise, we can see, is our supplier or are our internal groups actually doing things to prevent that from happening in the future, right? So that death by 1,000 cuts, each little product, each little instance may not seem important, but when seen across the whole, we may be deteriorating our customer experience, we may be bringing in cheaper parts, we may have supplier issues, we may have packaging issues, and the like. So the audit is really the key to an effective quality system. So then the question is, why conduct an audit, right? We all kind of know why, but let's just talk about it. Organizations that conduct audits, organizations conduct audits to examine a business process and evaluate the process's compliance with internal and external requirements. They also use audits to implement a continuous improvement cycle. So internal and supplier audits allow management to, 1, learn about potential problems before they become burning issues, 2, identify failure points within a process so relevant stakeholders can implement corrective actions in a timely manner, and determine the effectiveness of controls within a process. So now that we've got a background of what audits are and why we need to do them, we've got a sort of a background of what BPA does. Let's take a look at how we implement these processes within the solution. But before we get started, I want to take a quick poll. It's also kind of fun to do. And just take a look at what those in the audience are currently running in terms of SharePoint. We'll run this for a bit. That's interesting. Couple more out there ready. It looks like the majority are on 2010, which makes sense for organizations. We've got a group, about 24% of them on 2013. We've got a small group that are hosted with a provider other than Microsoft. We've got no one on Office 365 right now, which would be interesting to find out why. I'm sure I think I know why, but it'd be interesting to hear. and a couple that are not sure. So we're going to go ahead and close this. I'm not sure if you can see the results, but we'll go from there. I just want to make sure that my slides are advancing. There was one person that said they were not. I just want to, it looks like I am on air showing. Them. Okay, well, let's move on to the demo, and we'll go from there. So here we are on a SharePoint 2013 site, and I want to make sure everybody can see the site. Assuming there used to be a way I could see what you all see, but I can't see that right now. And essentially, we have installed the BPA Quality solution through Central Admin. We've activated on a site collection. And we are logged in as a user called Trial 2013. This is on our Discovery platform, which is the shared platform you can use to access our quality system to try out much of the same features we're going to see today. The home screen, which is over here on this tile, provides sort of a snapshot of what's going on and what is important for me. So first of all, I can take a look at all of my upcoming tasks. I can look at my current events, and I can look at all of my actions. Notice that this is a tab view. So these are configurable views for each of our clients that bring up the information from lists that are important to what you want to see to run your job. So you may have my upcoming tasks, but you may want to create another view that are my upcoming tasks that are due this week, rather than having tasks that are way out in March. All of these tasks, regardless, you can see we limit the view to, let's say, just 5 or however you want to show, so that you don't get a very long scroll down view of each of these lists. And then the actual filters can be applied so that you can look for all of your tasks that contain or equal to or less than and the like. So you could say, you know, I want to just see all of my tasks related to innovative, and just type in part of that word, and we can see we've got just that one task for innovative. We can also search here across the entire site for things that we want to find, or you can search across the various lists so that you can find exactly what you're looking for. So if you're looking for a specific account, if you're looking for a specific contact, and the like, you can choose just a specific list to look for. This is our data viewer web part. It's one of our primary web parts that allow you to configure views of the data. We've got it enabled twice on this page so that we can take a look at a little dashboard down here with some KPIs. In this task dashboard, we're just looking for tasks across the team that are either close to being overdue or are overdue or are on time. And we can, again, do that for our actions and our non-conformances. So very fast, nice views, makes it very easy to work with lots of data to run the process. So let's take a look at a calendar. We've also included a shared calendar. And this calendar shows, for me as a logged in user trial, what I've got coming up. You can see I've got both tasks and activities listed here. And over here on the right, I see not only, we can look at the legend, which audits are coming up, which calendar items and which tasks, but we can see that they're all sort of put into a calendar for me and my team so I can see what's going on. What's nice is that information is also synchronized with my Outlook so that it creates automatically my Scrum meeting that happened on Monday, my quality meeting that's here on the 30th, and the audit that's running the 23rd through the 28th. So full integration with both Outlook as well as all of the Microsoft applications, including Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, are a feature of the quality system so that you're always staying in touch no matter where you are. So with any quality system, the story usually starts with setting company objectives, right? And objectives are something that drive your quality process and set sort of a high-level view of where do you want to take the company in the current year. So in this case, we've set some corporate objectives such as reducing late shipments to 5%, reducing our employee turnover, improving our action efficiency, and reducing damaged packages by 40%. We're going to take a look today at that last objective, which is reducing damaged packages by 40%. So what we're going to do is drop into this objective. When we do that, we're essentially going into the objectives list, and we can see there is a lot of data that we've collected related to this objective, such as a due date, a start date, a task status, and then objective details, which is simply more list information. Since this is a list-based system, all of the information you want to collect about objectives or any other items are simply done by modifying the underlying list that this is pulling from. So that if you wanted to rename these, if you wanted to add more fields to your objective and the like, that can all be done through standard SharePoint configuration. So we can see we've also used our KPIs in here just to get some visual representations in terms of the expected date versus today. So we're on track and the like. Now, one of the key things that the BPA solution does for SharePoint is provide a nice 360-degree view of any list item. What that means is we can create many-to-many relationships between the list items, such as this objective, and other lists. In this case, we're going to see all of the actions, both corrective and preventative actions, all of the tasks, all of the calendar items, and any attachments that are related to this objective, right? So if anybody wants to know, gee, what are we doing about reducing the damaged packages for 40%, we can see, well, we've got an action, a corrective action, that is a process to look for new packaging materials, and we've got another corrective action that is related to odd and fragile shipments processes, like what is the process for odd and fragile items in shipment. Sorry if it's worded a little funny. Right? So then we can drop into each of those to see what's going on with them, but let's just continue down this road. We can take a look at our tasks, and we can see that we've got a bunch of completed tasks and a bunch of other tasks related. Now, some of these tasks are related to these actions. Some of these could be just related to other non-conformances. We have our calendar items. Here's our Scrum meeting. And then if we had any attachments, they would show here. So let's take a look at, in this action, this odd and fragile shipment process creation. Okay? So now we're going to go into the details of this action. Again, we've got our nice tab view so we can see the most important attributes here, and then the further details below in this tab view related to the action details. What you can see is this many-to-many relationship exists here. In this action detail, we can see it's a corrective action that was started on February 28th. It's about 20% complete. But that this action is related to an audit. And this is the audit of a specific supplier. We'll call them supplier X. Okay? It's also related to a non-conformance or issue that was related that a customer had received a broken lamp. You can imagine the lamp is fragile and probably an odd size. And we're going to tie this to the objective, reducing our damaged packages by 40%. This relationship is really the power behind driving information flow from seemingly unrelated items to determine a root cause analysis or to understand what we're doing to meet our corporate objectives related to quality. Now, what's nice about this is we take advantage of a lot of standard SharePoint features such as version histories so that we can see all of the modifications that happened to this record and see who changed what and who added what over time so that we really get a snapshot, sort of a living life of what's going on with this action. Now, what's interesting is as you create actions, they can also spawn workflows. Now, a workflow can be as simple as something like this, where we can declare an issue. We can have it routed to a quality manager, where that quality manager will then determine whether we need to label it as something that needs a corrective or preventative action, or just something that needs an immediate action and needs user validation. If it needs to go through a CAPA process, it probably goes back to the quality manager for validation, gets the user validated. If they agree with it, it can move to a closing. If they don't, it goes back to the quality manager and the like. And this sort of continuous improvement process loop here is really what drives creating the processes to reduce the quality issues that we're seeing. Now, usually what happens is we get them to look more like this, and they're much more complicated than just 2 or 3 things, but that's really the benefit of having a SharePoint-based application, because through SharePoint Designer or third-party tools such as Nintex Workflow and the like, you can create the workflows, the SharePoint-based workflows, to fit whatever complexity your processes have, whether it's audit workflows, whether it's issue workflows, whether it's CAPA workflows, and the like, to make sure that everybody is notified and in the loop of what's happening out there. So as we look at this action, we see that there are several tasks. Some of them are completed. Somebody spoke to the client, and we are scheduled to ship a replacement on the 31st. So all of that looks good. If we want to see the details about speaking to a client, we can just simply click on it, and we can see that this task was spoke to a client. It was assigned by Vet 2013. It's completed. If we look at the task details, we can see that we got a gap. We got back some ground information. We worked with scheduling a delivery of the replacement, and we confirmed the address. It happened yesterday at 1 o'clock. It was completed, and we can really see that this call and task was related to the objective, reducing a damaged package, odd fragile shipment, customer received a broken lamp, and the audit supplier X. And that's going to become important to us coming up. So if we look at this action and we want to log another call, we can simply hit the action button, log a call. Now what's interesting is it brings in information about who I am, the task, it's completed since I'm logging a call, and had a call with shipping group, all set to deliver on Friday. Had it today. But what we can see is since we were in this action, and this action already had the relationships, that automatically the system will pull in the objectives, the action, the non-conformance, and the audit that this task is related to. That's really powerful. If I wanted to also relate it to a specific account, BPA brings to the table an amazing ability to look ahead or type and look for items within the account list. So in this case, I can either create a new account, or I could say this is related to the aerospace account, and as I type, it brings up the exact aerospace, and then I can look it up for Boris, and I can tie this task to both the account and contact. So very powerful features that allow you to start creating these relationships and the like. Now that gets logged, and I can see down here in my tasks, the completed, we've got spoke to client and the call. And what you decide to show down here is completely configurable based on how you want this view to look. So if you wanted to actually show the description so that you can quickly see what's going on, that's great. Another thing we allow you to do is to have what's called a JavaScript lookup, which allows you to bring in information in a pop-up rather than doing a full page refresh that lets you see what's going on. So we had a call to the shipping group to deliver, all set to deliver on Friday. So we can see a lot of details about that without actually having to click on that record. So we're going to open this up for another quick poll and talk about your current quality management system. And I always love this question when we work with clients. So is your current quality management system is a legacy system we want to replace? Or spreadsheets? It's just in your head, or we're thinking about formalizing one internally. All right. So let's close this up. And the majority of you are using spreadsheets, which is not uncommon. So all of these list items that we see in here in terms of the information we're collecting around non-conformances or actions are usually spreadsheet columns. Well, spreadsheet columns are really what SharePoint is based on, right? Lists look like spreadsheets. So typically what we do is we work with you with your spreadsheets and we configure the SharePoint list to match those. But now we have it in a collaborative platform where all of your users and other people can add information and run not only your issue management, but also putting in your actions and the like. So let's move now to our non-conformances. which is really sort of the heart of an issue, right? So as issues are created, such as something broke or we got a complaint from a customer, that's really what drives the root cause analysis piece and also your audits. So what we see here, that we've got a view of all of our non-conformances, and we've also got a view of all of our open non-conformances. Again, using our tab navigation, you can create any view that you want to show the information you need. The columns that we're displaying down below are completely configurable in our data viewer web part. You've got your filter views so that you can see, search for what you want easily and quickly. So in this case, we can see that we've got a broken glass table here. And this broken glass table is, again, into a non-conformance. We've got a cost related to it. Obviously, a customer, let's figure out what they did. A customer emailed us. They had broken glass from a table they received, and we're in process. We've related this non-conformance to an account, which is probably the supplier. We've also related it to an audit. And then down here, we have not created any actions. But if we look at tasks, we're looking at shipping a replacement and the like. So at this point, if we see enough of broken glass related to this supplier, we may want to put an action in place to help them with their odd and fragile process. Make sure that they put a corrective action in place to better ship that so we're not replacing the glass, which is costing us $500 each, and then we'll view that within the audit. So look, these quality processes are not that complex, right? What we're trying to do is find an easy home for all of this data so that we can manage the process quickly and easily without having to worry about spreadsheets. So let's go ahead now and take a look at an audit. So audits are another list within the system, and we've created 3 audits here: partner audit, an HR audit, and there is our supplier X audit. Now if we look at the supplier X audit, what we're going to see now is all the information we were just working on in the day-to-day operations of running a quality system aggregated together within this audit. So we've got our auditor, right? So we want to specify who the auditor is. We want to talk about the subjects that are going to be audited, right? So we're planning out the scope, the objectives, and an agenda. We're providing a chronology of the audit from start to finish and notes with specific processes and sub-processes. These and who is going to perform the audit. So M. John is going to report it. The location is going to be in looks like a conference room of some sort. Start date and the like. Now down below, what we see is a list of all of the non-conformances that are related to this audit. So no more chasing down issues and cases and trying to tie them together when you're running an audit. You can quickly come in and take a look at what's going on. What's nice is the whole system has what's called a mail merge capability, and we can create an audit report in Word and pull all of this data into a document that can be shared with everybody that brings the essential information out of all of these different lists, from non-conformances to actions related to tasks that are being created to calendar items and even attachments. In this case, we've got a new packaging brochure, into one document that can be used as a discussion point for the audit with that supplier. Pretty amazing, a lot easier, and a very collaborative environment to make that happen. So hopefully we saw now how we tie objectives to actions to non-conformances, how those can be related to an audit, and then we can go in. There's lots of other features related to our quality system, such as tracking training. In this case, training is always an interesting piece where we can create different training courses. Within those training courses, we can select users from our organization that have attended them and create sort of a history by user of what's going on. Now what's interesting is if you look at Boris Lutz, you'll see that he has taken this training as well. Again, that creates that many-to-many relationship where if you look at the course, you can see all the contacts that have taken the course. If you look at the user, you can see what training they've done across training courses. There's full reporting within the system. We've got over 15 charts that are available that can be configured to show things that you want. In this case, we're looking at the costs of the non-conformances, which is about $5,000 so far. We've got about $50 in non-conformances for the month of January. We can see the number of non-conformances that are tagged as customer versus internal versus supplier. We've got these sort of donut charts. We've got bar charts. We've got different vertical charts, 3D charts, all the charts that you would sort of expect to see within there. We've also got a series of dashboards, and these dashboards show visually with our KPIs the ability to sort of do calculations against issues, non-conformances, actions, audits, objectives, and the like, to say, is this exceeding our threshold for days open? Are there overdue tasks associated with it? Right? And this allows us to take a quick view from a dashboard view of what's good. So if we look at actions, we get sort of the same thing. Number of activities. Are there any overdue tasks related to these? We're all green lighted here on our audits. Number of actions related to them and the like. We also have the ability to generate reports. And reports allow you to build queries and categorize them. In this case, you can publish them as public reports, or you can publish them just for yourself. And you can see here we've got completed tasks, my tasks, non-conformances, and the like. The system also supports a full document management system, and that's really just a home for you to put documents in an approval process driven by workflow, where you can create a version of a document, route it around for approval. Once it's approved, then publish it for use within your organization and the like. So we can see publications, versions, revisions for us today. But that's a whole other concept that we want to get into in another webinar. So with that, interesting. I think we want to wrap this up unless there's some questions. Let's see, we've got some questions going on here. So yeah, the questions are, so the system can be licensed in two ways. There's an on-premise version, supports both 2010 and 2013. It is both user-based pricing, minimum of 5 users. So if you've got a few users in a very big farm, the user-based pricing is a very effective way to go. If you have a lot of users, you can also buy it at the server level, which gives you unlimited users and access to the system. There is a cloud version of this as well, where we host it on our SharePoint farm, and you can just simply have access to the quality solution on a per user per month. All pricing is visible on our webpage. You can actually build your own quote and choose the licensing model you want, or choose several different and get some options that you can bring to yourself. Let's see. What if I want to add a field to a non-conformance? Let's say I need to have a lookup for parts in my item master that is currently in Great Plains. So that's a great question. Of course, you can add any fields to the list, but then if you want that to have a lookup, you can use any of your standard SharePoint features, right? So you can use business connectivity services. You can use, we've got a data connector web part, or you can just do some nightly synchronization if that data isn't changed that often, bring it into a SQL database or bring it into the list and have a lookup happen. So that's a pretty easy way to bring in outside data, which we do all the time for our clients. So how many modules were in our presentation? It was just the quality module is the only thing you saw here. Pretty much saw just the professional level. I don't think there was anything here that we saw that was at the enterprise level. When you get to the enterprise, we're looking more at the data connectivity, the web connectivity, and the self-service portal, which we can talk about. Yes, our solution does work with SharePoint Foundation. And in terms of reporting, what we always say is our reports are great for snapshots, for looking at how our system looks right now, right? So we can do a query and a report. Let me just pull up a report here. You can see that what will happen is the reports will come out in a format that's just the web, but then you can export your report to a spreadsheet right here. But for, let's say, those weekly snapshots or monthly snapshots that need to automatically be emailed to a group of people, we suggest using SQL Server reporting services, which allows you to build a nice query against our lists and then format that into a PDF and have it automatically sent out. So that's one of the nice things, is the data is accessible to you in any format and any trick that you may currently have for doing reporting. What people also do with SQL Server reporting is they like to merge data together. So they want to pull data from their ERP system, maybe on shipments and other things that are outside of the quality system, merge that with data from the quality system, like number of non-conformances or number of issues or days open, and then build a report that sort of pulls that information together. And again, SQL Server reporting services is a great way to do that. If you don't have SQL Server reporting services, we can talk about that using other things. I'm not too sure if that's really part of Foundation or not, but we can talk about that offline, Monica. There are other things we can do, including Excel, using Excel services and the like. So we can go there a little bit later. A couple more questions popping up here. So is this a SharePoint application or a web part? That's a great question. So it is a single platform that is installed through Central Admin and deployed as a solution, and then it's activated on the site collection. However, the platform is comprised of 30 web parts that work together with some code to create the solution. So 4 times a year we do upgrade that platform. But you do not have to upgrade individual web parts as you would for something like Bamboo or like that. So you're not installing 30 different web parts and need to manage the versions of those. It's a single platform. There are very sophisticated web parts that allow you to do things such as the reminder tool, such as the data viewer, such as the forms builder, such as lots of other things that you can see on our site. So while the basis is web parts, it is a single install that is deployed as a solution. So speaking a little bit about our workflows, we do have a BPA workflow solution that we are phasing out. We do support it in 2013 and 2010, and it is available to you. It is available at the enterprise level. What we are pushing clients to these days is to use either SharePoint Designer or a third-party tool such as Nintex. If those aren't available, we do have an integrated workflow tool that you can use within our solution. We don't have any templates, but working with our team, we do a lot of services related to helping you design your workflows and also training you on the workflow tool. Trial version, that's a great question. So we do have access to the Discovery platform that you can go in and spend a lot of time working with it, but that is a shared platform. We have done proof of concepts. They usually take about 8 to 16 hours worth of service to help configure those solutions on your site, but we can definitely do proof of concepts and trials on-prem, but they do require a little bit of services up front to help that experience go smoothly and to help the process get configured. Look, it is a SharePoint-based solution. It's got all of the configurations that you need to do with SharePoint from out of the box to actual being able to use it. We do set up all of the lists. We do set up some basic views. We do some basic reporting. The site template that comes out of the box is usable, but not necessarily matches the processes that you currently have. So to get the most out of a trial, we would like to spend a little bit of time at least training you and giving you a walkthrough of how the solution works and what you can and can't do from a configuration standpoint. But we'd be more than happy to do that with you all. Okay, we're coming up to 12:45 here, and I promised a 45-minute webinar. I appreciate all of your time. Again, we've recorded this webinar, and it will be available over the next couple days. I'll reach out to each of you with an email as well to see if there's more we can do, maybe a custom presentation or even just a nice phone call. We are going to be at the SharePoint conference in Las Vegas in March. I'll be there. Kevin will be there. We've got a nice big booth. Some people from Switzerland are coming out. We're giving away 2 Microsoft Surface tablets, so come by for a drawing, say hi, love to meet you. And actually that should have been one of my poll questions, which is how many people are going to SPC, but maybe I'll just ask you in an email. So have a great day. Stay warm if you're on the East Coast. Stay safe if you're in the southeast and out of the ice. And if you're out west and warm, don't rub it in. Thank you all.